Welcome, James Heppell. It's great to see you, and congratulations on taking gold in the Lines of Action World Championship.
Thank you.
This has obviously been a bit of a different year, and I know you played a lot less. You weren't as focused on the Pentamind as usual. What did you participate in?
Yeah, so this year I decided to just play a few of my most favourite events online. So I entered the Settlers on the first day because it's always very exciting. You get a big crowd, and I think that worked really well on Catan Universe. I then entered a few of the chess events and one or two of the poker events because again they were online. They were super easy to play. Everything was automated, and you could just join in. And then I entered some of the more my favourite games. So I did Entropy, Lines of Action, and I think Corridor as well. And that was about it.
So yes, a much smaller amount, obviously. But how was it playing online? How is that different?
Yeah, it's very different. I certainly prefer to play over the board. You miss that social element. A lot of games that require negotiation or bargaining, like Settlers, it's obviously very different to play online. Although we did have the chat rooms, so you could chat to the other players and initiate trades. It's nothing quite like seeing people's body language, communicating with people. I kind of certainly missed that aspect. But I thought all the games were run and played really well online. The Discord channel was great.
A big shout out again to Mike, who did a fantastic job.
Yeah, him and his team did an excellent job. I think they were all really well run. You had all the scores up, all the rounds up, and it must have been manic for them over the over the month to organise all the different games, or the ones that use Discord anyway.
I think.
Sure. And the other ones that didn't, the ones that were say on live chess or PokerStars, I think they were all great because they were all set up automatically. You just had to sign in and join, and then away you went and away you played. The same with the ones on Bin and some of the other platforms. So I think it was actually really nice and easy to sign up and play. You just had to create a few different profiles on different accounts, and you all set up.
That was the one thing that was a bit odd. It took a lot of work because you had to have profiles on a lot of different platforms. But once you did it worked.
Yeah, a list of all my logins and all my different websites that we were playing on. I think
did you use the same password on all of them?
Oh, different on each one.
I see, of course.
Board Game Arena I thought was really good as well because they obviously supported a lot of the games, and I think that was a great platform to play.
We're actually going to use Board Game Arena has a great replay functionality, so we're going to actually show one of your winning games, a pivotal game. So against this year's Pentamind World Champion, Ankush Khandelwal. So we'll get to that, but yes, a great platform.
Yeah, and I think it means you can replay games, as you say, and you can go back through and see what you did well, what you did badly, and you've got all that history from potentially year after year on all those platforms. So I thought, yeah, it was really well organised. It was a real feat to get so many games in over a month. I mean, it's a real commitment to get all the setup and negotiation with all the different groups, and so really well done, I think, for you and the team.
Thank you.
On getting that. That's a real big feat. And obviously not all the games could be ported across, but there were loads of new games that were available to lots of players that are popular within all the...
And I'm sorry, you obviously are amazingly strong at a lot of games that we couldn't bring on, like Mensa Connections, which is a great game. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and I think maybe it just means that in the future someone will write those games available in some of the platforms, barring license issues and things like that. But it just gives the scope of having your game online. Really means you'll get a lot more popularity, a lot more people will play it, etc.
Definitely.
I think all the platforms were great, and it was a really good experience because it attracted more people from all around the world. A lot of high class players as well are now competing. So it means the strength of each competition is higher, which can only really improve the mind sports, I think. So I thought it was a really, really good opportunity, and I think it was executed pretty well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the caliber was really quite high, and yeah, it was very tough to win a medal. So every medal is already a huge triumph. And in entropy, you almost medaled in entropy. We had a new scoring system this year, which is a very fair one, but it didn't go well for you in one game, and really kind of
Yes.
affected
So
you.
entropy had gone really well. I think looking at the old score system, I was on 4 out of 4 in a 7-round competition. I then I lost by 1 point, but it's still a loss. And then I won, and then I lost again. So essentially, I got 5 out of 7. And in the old scoring system, that would have net me 3rd on tiebreak because I had a lot of tough opponents.
Yeah.
But because I lost my final game by such a large margin, down to my own fault, making silly mistakes because I was tired. Because in that format, you don't really get much break between the games, and if you have tough opponents, the game goes quite long. Therefore, you're quickly playing the next one. So yeah, everyone's in the same position. But because I had such a bad loss in my final game, it meant that the new scoring system favors consistency. So if you're consistently good in all your games, you only lose by a few points, or you win by a few points or more, then you'll do better overall. But if I'd have had a tight game in my final round against David, who went on to win, I'd have actually ended up 3rd anyway, even if I'd have lost. So I think the new scoring system worked well. I didn't realise how heavily it would punish a really bad game, or someone who had the same scores that I would have had throughout the game.
But I want to say, still a phenomenal tournament. I want to just share a screen to show everyone here. First of all, your history a bit. By the way, everybody has a player ID. Yours is 1006, just so you know.
Excellent.
And in the future, we're going to be using those player IDs. But over the years, you've got 46 golds, which is amazing. Although I think some of those are juniors. And I'm not sure if I don't think those are counted for the all-time medals table. Let's see, because yes, here it's 41 golds.
Okay.
But still an incredible amount there. And
yeah, I find I've got a fairly even spread between gold, silver, and bronze, whereas some of the competitors, such as Ankush, has far more golds than silver and bronze. He's more of an all or nothing.
That's true.
It's just interesting to see the different distributions. And someone like Andres as well is far heavily skewed at the gold level rather than the silver and the bronze.
That is really, really interesting. But you're a little bit silver phobic here.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the bronze is almost the same as the gold. It's losing that final table, that final match. You go from 1st to 3rd or worse.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. They say that psychologically, when you're at least in the Olympics for Olympic athletes, I don't know how true this is, but the story goes that Olympic athletes who win a bronze medal are often happier than winning a silver medal, because when you win silver, you feel like, oh, I just missed out on gold. Whereas when you get bronze, you're like, I'm just lucky to be on the podium. I'm happy to be here. So I think that's kind of funny. But I mean, tremendous all-time record here, and Ankush obviously overtook David, who still has the highest medal count this year. But that's really interesting. And in terms of this year's Lines of Action World Championship, you, Dragon Master, you had a perfect score of 7 out of 7, followed closely by several people with 6. What was showed being Andres Kusk, who I know you had a tight game there. He had a shot, and we're going to look at your game against Game King, which was very tight as well. And so yeah, that's I guess. Let's see. Let's
yeah, so I think the set of players there online, a number of them are from the Mind Sports in previous years, but there are certainly a few new names from people that have played on Board Game Arena, obviously quite a lot, and some others. So it's good that it's drawn in other players that play online, as well as the core crowd that attend.
Absolutely. I think that's, that's what's great is we really increased our base. Um, so that's very exciting. There are a lot of players, as we can scroll down and see here, in the Lines of Action World Championship. So let's go through a game, replay game. Here we are. And I played in this tournament, and I think I scored an error occurred. That's not very good. Let's go back and see if we can do it. So if I go replay game, there we go. I need to choose a player. I'll choose you, the victor. And I'll just say I, as Nightleap, was also here with 4 out of 7. So I got to play a little bit as well. And Lines of Action is a great game. So here we go. So Game King was Ankush. He started. And how big of an advantage do you think it is to start in Lines of Action?
I definitely prefer to start. I feel like you've got the momentum with you. You can start building a wall. You can start, start the tempo plays. I think over looking back through a lot of my games, I've won more going first than I had going second. But it certainly haven't played the game enough that you could say it was a big or small advantage. I think it's a bigger advantage than in chess, for example, where going first is nice, but there's enough variation.
You think it's bigger than in chess?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. So reasonably significant. So here we go. Ankush moves his piece, and this is a very natural start. Obviously, with Board Game Arena, you can actually look up your opponents. Did you look up some of the games of some of the top players before the tournament? Did you replay some of their games?
No, not this year. Didn't really have time to do that. I noticed that I was watching Koma Chin's games when I'd finished my round because I think he was the highest ranked player on Board Game Arena. So I wanted to see his kind of style and what he would do. And I could see that Andres Sovashod was also watching his games because you can see who's watching the games in the player window. So I could see us watching his games or her games during the play.
I'm not sure about the gender actually. I think from Japan, right? I believe. I'm not sure. But also
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back look at the profile.
Very strong player. So you are taking a similar approach in the beginning.
Yes, I'm kind of mirroring his move, but chasing him around the board. Another standard kind of opening is to play a similar move to him, but from the bottom upwards. So it would have been 85.
Yes, because you've chosen, because you could try and move away from the row that he's starting to blockade, but instead you're moving towards it while blockading him. As you say, you could have gone like that.
I used to play that many years ago, but I think I just prefer the positions that come out of this move later down the line.
It's really cool that you've got a much more intuitive sense of the opening theory. So here we go. Ankush is naturally blocking, and you're so far you're doing something similar. He continues to block, and now you make a different move. This is actually where you're starting to attack him. So this move actually not only does it block, but also threatens potentially to move forward and take this piece here, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to do that would be great for you. So he has to find a way to block it, I guess.
Yeah, he wants to stop me from taking that piece.
So
I think that's right.
So he moves. It's a very prophylactic move. He takes a piece off the diagonal so that you can no longer move with the power of 4, only the power of 3. Okay. And now you do something a bit different. You've actually started moving things towards the center. What point makes you feel like that's the right thing to do here?
Yeah, I think at some point you're coming around the edge and blocking your opponent. At the very beginning of the game, it's very difficult to get pieces into the center because they can just get taken by the opponent. And losing pieces generally isn't great, but it's okay. It kind of depends on the situation. Yep. I feel that having pieces in the center at the moment is pretty good at this part of the game, because it kind of it starts to provide connection points for your pieces, and you can start to apply pressure and protect the center. I think in some games are very positional, and you want to kind of like occupy space or block space, and so having the center is like, it's similar to chess analogy, where you can then go in every direction, whereas if you're all bunched into the bottom left, you can only then go in one or two ways from there. So I felt this was the right move to kind of move out. The piece can't get taken, and it can set up some nice attacks. So I think later I'll get a piece onto c4 and threaten the g4 square. So my plan is to try and attack those 3 red pieces at the bottom.
So to be clear here, you talked about c4, which is right here. And if you have a piece on c4, then you have the power for it to go down to g4 and break the blockade. Mm-hmm. So that's why you want to get a piece here. That's cool. Okay. It's cool. So yeah, you have a very clear goal. And Ankush, he's trying to fortify this while slowly bring his pieces in.
Yeah, he's playing more of a blocking game, I'd say, at the moment. And I'm trying to attack what he's created.
So, I mean, that move seems reasonably natural, but on the other hand, you could have moved this guy to c4 had you wanted to instead.
Yeah, I quite like having a wall of 3 because it blocks a lot of his pieces the same way that he's blocked mine. So it's kind of a symmetry of what he's done to me. And it also makes it easier if I want to connect those 3, I can kind of hop down. So c2 can go to f2, and then d2 can go to g2. If I want to later on.
That's true. That's true. That is quite nice. That is a powerful wall. Okay. Well, he's moving forward and trying to solidify this. Mm-hmm. And there you go. You've done it. You've now moved here. Now you are threatening to take on g4 to move this guy here.
Yeah, and I think if Ankush allows me to take there, that's really nice for me, because I've broken his wall that he's trying to create, and it means I'm very close to connecting my pieces towards the center, and his pieces are all kind of off in different places. So I think he has to try his hardest to try and stop me from taking that.
All right. So indeed, he does act in a strange way, right? So why does he do this? Obviously, now you could take. So what is the purpose of that move?
So that one means that now his piece on c8 can defend the piece on g4. So if I capture him on g4, he can capture back.
Okay, so just to show with the mouse, if this piece takes here, then this piece could jump over this piece here and jump all the way here and recapture. So in essence, this piece and this piece would come off. So the idea is he's now created a power of 4 on a line of 4, and could jump in here. So that's the idea of this move.
So it's a bit of a clunky move, because in itself it doesn't do much. Like, it doesn't really help connect his pieces. No. Which is good for me, because I'm forcing him to play moves that are a bit passive. But I don't think he has many options to stop me taking the g4 square. So I think he thought for quite a bit of time here and then played that move. Because he could have played.
The game is a little bit of a dance where you're trying to block and progress at the same time.
Yeah, and your best moves are ones that do both, and then you'll find after 4 or 5 moves you get ahead, and then the tempo is really in your favor, and you can be the one attacking and connecting.
Absolutely. So let's see. At this point, do you have an intuition as to who's in a better position?
So it's a bit unclear at the moment. I'm definitely attacking, and he's definitely trying to defend that wall. And it's whether I can break through or whether he can solidify and hold off. So it's kind of, we're in a battle at the moment, I guess.
So you would say that it's unclear?
Yeah, I'd say it's unclear.
Okay. Cool. So you took off a piece. And
I want to get my pieces into the board. My aim at the moment is I'm trying to join the pieces.
Yeah, and now you're
join the ones at the bottom. And yeah, this one threatens to break that wall. He is defending
recapture. So yeah, you recapture from here.
But I can capture again because I've got the one on
Oh,
E2 that suddenly is also
I
attacking.
missed that. That's right. So if you capture here and he recaptures, then this guy only has 3 and he could capture back. So it's a good attack.
Yeah, it's quite a common attack that happens in a lot of games where people build a bridge over the pieces, and you attack from the diagonal.
So you've got a double attack.
Yeah, so it's quite difficult to defend.
And in a way, right, this is the same situation here. So this bridge here he's defending like that, and then this guy as well would defend again.
Yeah.
So you've got it's an interesting dynamic. I'm still not completely used to recognizing all these patterns and lines of action. So it's cool. It's cool to see them. Okay, so what is going on here?
So he's trying to get his piece. So also this move blocks that piece, so he's trying to get that piece out as quickly as possible. Which I think it's an okay move. It can move into F4 next move, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
Kind of blocking things a little bit.
Yeah. So you do it. You progress. You do it. You take.
Yeah. So I feel like I've got the wall. I can come in now.
And he recaptures, and you don't recapture. You could have recaptured from this piece.
Yeah, I could have recaptured. I feel that if I'd have recaptured, he can then move some of his pieces in, and maybe I want to get all my pieces into the game by moving to D5 here, which is a move I want to do all the time. I don't really want him to take it. So if I'd have captured D2 to G5,
oh, I see. Then he could take you. Yeah.
Yeah, he can take me, and I kind of don't want that. So I thought if I move now, I'm still threatening to take on G5. And even if he captures me, I can capture him back.
Yeah. And you're threatening to take this way as well.
Yeah, and that taking that way is probably even nicer for me.
Let's see here. So he's thinking, and he changes his mind. He realizes he could take you. Because first he thought of blocking you, and then he realizes, oh, let's maybe take him.
Yeah, so if he blocks me, I can capture him from C2 to F5.
Yes, that's right. From here to here. I see. So that's why the block would not be good for him. So he's taking you, but that still kind of gives you some space here. And you could potentially take him, but then he would take you back.
Yeah, and if he does that, he's then dropping the G4 square, which I've been threatening since near the beginning. And that's the one that I really
defending from here. So pulling away this defender is interesting for you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you do it, and now you say, "Hey, come take me," but then I will capture you here, and you won't be able to capture back. So he's not going to fall for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to take on D5, but I think he did.
Oh, really? What should he do here?
So in this position, I think he's defending his position there. I would probably go the piece on B6. He could move down to D6.
B6 could go down to D6.
And then he can play his piece from F1 into F4, because at the moment he can't move to F4 because I can take him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can still take him even if he does that, but moving his piece down to D6 kind of blocks my piece on C7. And it's a bit awkward to get that in.
That is an awkward piece.
And as we find later, my pieces on C2, C4, and E2 and E4 aren't actually that nice. And they kind of get in each other's way.
Yeah, it does seem a little awkward. Let's see. So he takes, and now you finally take him.
Yeah, so I feel very happy.
Capture you.
Yeah, and I feel very happy at the moment because I think if you look at the position, all his pieces are single. Like there's basically, apart from the two at the bottom, they're all not connected. And the aim of the game is to connect all of your pieces. So I feel that he's got a lot of moves before he can even win. Yeah. Whereas I've got one big group at the bottom, and I just need to move these 4 pieces, or even less if I can connect for 3. So I feel like I'm not very many moves away from winning, and yet I feel like he is.
Yeah. Although, like you said, it's a little awkward. This guy can't really jump in because this guy's kind of blocking him.
Yeah, and if he moves to c5, it still can't come in. So, but I feel like I'm doing well here. I feel like I'm certainly winning.
Cool. All right, let's see. He's thinking. He's touching 3 pieces, 4th piece before
It
he
is
decides.
funny in Board Game Arena where you can see your opponent's thinking. So when they click on a piece, you get to see what they're thinking about, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have any situations where you or your opponent sometimes you think would just touch a piece to distract you before moving the actual piece they intend to move?
So I certainly had a game. So the last round was against Andres, and he certainly did that against me because he was beating me, and he clicked a piece that if he had moved, it would let me win, and hovered on it for a few seconds, and then moved to a different piece. So you can certainly use it as a mind game trick during your game, I think.
That's cool. Okay, so.
So I feel like, yeah, my piece was a bit awkward actually. So whereas I thought I was doing really well, it's quite difficult to connect my pieces. So I thought instead I would try and strive to get into the center and kind of block his connection and try and create mine. So that was my attempt here with this move.
Do you think that's a good move?
Yeah, I think that's okay. I kind of want to come into e3. So that piece that just moved can now move to e3.
I see.
I really would like to move my piece on c2 down to f5.
Two moves to, as you're saying, to f.
I'd like to move it to f5, so I'd like to get another piece on that diagonal.
Yeah.
So maybe moving, my piece on g4 to g6.
So
and this move threatens
here to g6. So if you were to do that, yeah, then you'd have a more of on the line.
Yeah, and I'm threatening at the moment to move my e2 piece to e5, which I think would be really nice to me.
The
actually,
piece. I don't know why the chessboard is rotated. It would be so much more natural
I think
as a chess player.
It's because it's probably with the first player. So because Ankush was first player.
Oh.
The chessboard's
Maybe.
So viewing it from his position would have.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Ah. Oh, shoot. Then I should have taken him. Okay.
Next time.
I don't know. Or maybe it always is like this. Now I'm really now I'm confused. But it's quite counterintuitive for me to switch to. I'm so used to thinking of a chessboard a particular way, and here it's rotated by 90 degrees. It just makes it weird.
Definitely.
But okay.
So he blocks my move from e2 to e5 because I think that would be really good for me.
So he's made a lot of progress, and you don't think that you've made any particular mistakes necessarily, but now it's not so clear what's going on here, right?
Yeah, I feel like his pieces are coming together much nicer than mine. He's still got a few odd pieces, so he's got a piece on G8,
this is odd.
C8, sorry, yeah,
C8.
That's not great, and he's still got a piece on F1, but that one can come in quite nicely, so he's not too worried about that piece.
Yeah. Right, let's see here then. Okay.
So I'm kind of connecting.
You're kind of blocking him here a bit.
Yeah, because my piece, because if I moved a piece into F5, he can kind of just take it straight away with his piece on F1.
Right. That's right.
So what I'd quite like.
So if you were to go here, he could just go and take you.
Yeah. So what I'd quite like to do is to make that my winning move. Because if it's my winning move, then he can't take me.
That makes sense. All you have to do really is bring this guy over here, and then you can try and win. But this guy wouldn't be connected though.
True, but
you have to go here first or something.
I can win in 2 moves if he helps me. So I'm close to winning.
Help you how?
So if he moved his piece on F1
yeah.
to any position, I could move my piece on E2 to D3. And then I can move my piece from C2 down to F5.
That's true. You can't move here at the moment. Yeah.
No, I can't.
But then you could move this piece that you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. But yeah, he's not going to let me do that, obviously.
That's cool. Oh, but he's kind of Huh? He's kind of letting you do it because now you could just move your piece and try to win in 1 move.
Yeah. Oh, I think I didn't. Yeah, I think I don't do that because he can play f8 to f5.
Which we triangulate here.
Yeah,
F8 here to
f5.
F5 here.
So at the
Ah,
moment,
yes. If you go here, he goes here, and then
yeah,
it just becomes awkward. You can't jump over. He's blocking you. You can't go here. You just
yeah.
it's kind of nasty. He's ready to close quite a wall here,
And at
actually.
the moment, I'm
Wow.
defending that square with my piece on c2.
That's right. That's right. So if he goes here, then you'd actually be able to take him.
So
Wow.
that's probably, yeah, that's probably why I don't play
Yeah,
uh,
it makes sense. It makes sense.
e2
Because
to
going
d. Even though I
here,
want to,
yeah,
I
that
can't.
makes a lot of sense. It looks like, yeah, it would be very awkward for you. Wow. Okay. So you move here, but now he could just take you.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
but
again,
then you
I
would
can
take him
capture back.
back. Then you would
Yeah.
take him back. Ah, smart. Very smart.
I'm kind of connecting my pieces, but they're very brittle. So, any one of my pieces that gets taken, my whole
Mhm.
position just goes. But I think because I'm behind, I need to try and threaten a win as soon as possible. So
It's
now I've got
weird.
a win in two
We,
moves,
we
essentially.
haven't been able to place what you did wrong because you thought you were doing much better, and now not so. That's no longer the case. But we haven't been able to pinpoint where it actually.
Yeah, I think maybe I underestimated how useful his pieces were when they're all singular around the board.
Maybe.
You've got a lot of mobility, you've got a lot of choices, and if you pick the right choices, you can play creative moves,
Mm,
which is certainly one of Ankush's strengths to kind of see patterns in his moves and positions.
definitely.
Um,
Well, let's see.
so
So
he now
he
blocks,
blocks you.
yeah, because that's definitely my next move because I'm threatening a win in two otherwise.
Uh, you're threatening to finally go there, but then hold on. But then if you did do that, then he would take you here.
No, so he's not threatening there anymore because now there's four on that row.
Ah, no. Yes, now you can't take back. I see that. That's right. Now he is threatening to take here.
Yeah, with the one from D5, yeah.
Sorry for the one from here. Yes, because that's not four. That's three from here. Only from here. So now he's ready to take you. Wow.
I've got to defend that. So I defend it and connect, which is always nice to do, two things in one go.
This looks like a great position all of a sudden, but it's still awkward for this guy here.
Yeah,
Guy.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I'm threatening to take his piece on D5, which might be okay for me. But
Yeah.
again, my
You
position's
go
a
here and
little
take here.
brittle.
That looks very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it awkward for him here.
hmm
Okay. So at this point, what do we think? Who's doing better?
So now it's difficult. I think his red pieces are nicer than my white in terms of the bigger group. So I don't, I've got two pieces on the left that need to connect to my main structure, and he has two pieces on the right that need to come in and connect to his main structure. So we have a very similar, goal in mind. But I think my pieces are quite stretched out, so they're very fragile. So he just needs to attack one point, and it can all fold. Whereas his pieces have a thicker structure, and it's difficult for me to try and get in and capture some of them. So I feel like he's got a slight edge now with his pieces, but it's kind of still all to play for. However, I think this is a really good move
Hmm.
because now he's threatening to take my piece on f5
Yeah,
with
but are
his
you being able to, well, you haven't been able to take back before. Why is it different now?
because
Because,
he's moved his piece from f3, so now there's
oh, sorry. Now
three
that you
on
can
the f
take
row,
from here. Yes, yes. Not just
which
from
is
here, but also,
really nice move for him, and it's very difficult for me to actually block that move.
yeah.
So it's very difficult for me to get a piece onto that row. I've only
Mhm.
got a few options.
Well, you could
Uh,
move here.
Yeah, so that's one option, but unfortunately, it means that the on column 5 now then has two, and he can
Yeah, then
take
he
me.
could just take you here, which right now you've
Yeah,
defended, so he can't take you here. So yeah, so if you defend from this guy, he would take that way. So that would not work. No.
yeah, I could take his piece on f8 with my
Yeah,
piece,
that seems interesting. Yeah.
but again, that's not great because he wants to connect that piece, and if I take it off the board for him, I'm kind of
Mhm. Might be.
helping him, which isn't great.
Hmm.
I think I decide to take his piece on d5 because then I'm protecting my piece back on f5
Okay.
from g5.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Oh, I see. So if you take here, that way if he takes here, you can take him back.
yeah, and then I keep my structure,
Okay.
even though it is fragile, which we'll certainly see.
Ah, but you didn't do that.
Ah, so
You
yeah,
did.
I
So maybe
think,
you should have.
yeah, I think if I do play that, he can then start to move his piece in from c8, and he's very close to winning. So I think instead I try and mix things up. I'm going to let him take me here,
Mhm.
but I can take his piece on d5 and try and build a wall between some of his pieces. And also, I need to get these pieces in the game at some point, so I might as well try and do it now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm also, yeah, I was also threatening a win in 2. My
Hmm.
piece on c2 can come to d1, and then from d1 it can come into f3.
Oh, that's cute. Boom, boom. And everything would have been connected. Of course.
Which is a
Now
nice
with
way. But
this
now
done
it doesn't quite connect, yeah, because he takes a key piece.
yeah. But indeed,
Um,
you're ready to do that maneuver.
yeah, so I do it anyway. I'm not sure why. I probably should have definitely taken on
D5.
d5 here, because if he just moves his piece now from c8 to c6, he stops me capturing on d5, and he threatens a win in 1 that I don't think I can stop.
Okay, so if
Uh,
you were to go here, it'd stop you taking here, and then you just have to move in here to win.
Yeah, and he's also threatening the piece from c5 to c4 to win as well. So he's got 2 different ways of winning, and I can't stop both.
Hold on. So let me just make
If he
sure I
moves
see
the piece
that.
from
So he
c8,
goes from, you're saying from C5, he could get
no,
then
so
go, sorry,
his piece on
he
c8,
goes here, yeah.
yeah. Then he's threatening to move it along again to win.
Oh, again here, yeah. I see. So from C6 to C4.
Yeah, so if he does that,
Ah,
I think I've just lost. So I think, yeah, playing to d1 was definitely a blunder, but I think we were both short of time here. And I think also in my mind, I wanted to play these 2 moves and win. And obviously now that he's taken my f5 square, that doesn't give me the option.
also, by the way, I just want to say how humble you are to be happy to play through a game that, is so close, and it shows, how interesting lines of action is. A lot of players would have picked a game where they just, dominated and, played perfectly, so to speak, throughout. So
Yeah,
it's fun to see a game like this that goes back and forth.
yeah, I think a lot of the games, certainly in this competition, were close, and I think a lot of them are kind of a battle where it is a back and forth game. You're either attacking or defending, and I certainly had quite a few close ones in this competition. Um,
Absolutely. So let's see. So, okay, so he does not make this move. Instead, he makes this move, which is troublesome because it loses a connection as well.
yeah, I think he was afraid of me capturing probably that piece on d3, so I could capture it with my piece on
Oh, I see.
e6.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So,
So e6.
so E6. I'm going to 6E right here.
So that could have gone to
Could have
e3.
gone to E3. Yes, that's right. I'm with you.
Um,
So
So
you
he
move
probably
here.
doesn't, and it kind of connects his pieces a bit better. I think
Mm.
he was certainly getting a bit low on time, and that's certainly a mistake. I don't think that's a great. I think he also wants to try and get a piece into e5. So
So
now he
hold
can
on. So
play.
if he was still here and he moves here, if you take him,
He can still win.
how does he win in 1?
He can. Ooh, yeah, good point. Yeah, okay, maybe that's not a win. If I take him,
Perhaps
yeah,
you're
okay,
not.
not winning one. He could then move c3 to d4, which puts him closer to winning.
Yeah, but that's still, it ain't a win in 1, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's very true. Yeah. He's definitely winning, but he hasn't won yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. So okay, but you there.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
There's,
you're right. It's not, yeah, okay, it wasn't over. Yeah, okay.
there's reason, some reason, but okay, boom, you have now taken him.
Now, I've got to take that piece. I've got to stop him from connecting.
Yeah,
He still potentially got a win in 2 by getting a piece into e5, which I think was his sole
this
goal.
looks very good. He's very well connected. He's ready to win by moving over by 1 right
Yep,
here.
but unfortunately, he's missed my cheeky win in 1. It doesn't look like my pieces are connected, but actually, with that little move to F3, they're all connected just.
So this is a strange one, right? Because you actually have two separate islands, and you're actually going to win by snapping them together, and that's not always as easy to see as you say. And both of you are short on time. Ankush is a tremendous player like yourself, but it's we're only human when the clock is winding down. So boom, here you go, and you've done it. A beautiful win. I'd like to propose a rematch, but obviously that is that. So yeah, a beautiful game, and again, as you were saying, it just shows just how deep Lines of Action is, which is really cool. I definitely want to play more Lines of Action. You've piqued my interest, and that really is great. So thank you for that. Yeah, what do you think? No, so please go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's got a fair amount of complexity. It would be interesting to get an engine or computer to play and do well. I think.
Is there an engine? Because there were some weak engines a few years ago. I don't know. I haven't checked. Do you still know if they're around?
I don't follow or know of any. I play. This is probably one of the games that I actually play throughout the year. So I play on a website called Little Golem, and it's just correspondence. So you have a couple of days to make a move. I don't know. I don't play online rapid play or fast play or anything like that. Yeah. But I think it'd certainly be nice to see what a good engine would look like, because the game can change quite dramatically, because every piece is the same, but it's different because its freedom of movement means that every piece is a different weapon in a different position. So it's a really nice abstract game because it's so simple. There's very few rules, but you can get really complicated and crazy positions. And there's always a battle or a struggle, which I really like.
It's really cool. As you say, it's so simple, and yet you still have to get your head around being able to visualize a few moves ahead, just because of the fact that the different amount of pieces changes the way you move. So it's a little.
Yeah, I think a lot of chess players will certainly like this game. It's played on a chessboard. It's got structural positions, and a lot of it is about thinking ahead and planning. And you're trying to play proactive moves while also threatening or defending areas. So it has a lot of chess-like qualities, which I quite like about it.
Yeah, it's a great game, and I actually recommended Lines of Action to Machi, who I think he took 5th overall in the Pentamine. He was really trying to win the Pentamine, and he gave Ankush a real run for his money. And so he just, he didn't know how to play it at all, trained for 2 days before this tournament, and still scored a 5 out of 7, which is a testament to incredible play. But,
he's a PM, right? I think at chess.
Just an FM, just
okay,
a master. But he is a bullet. Very fast. He starts. He's like 2600 or something.
Really because he won the overall chess, I think.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, because it was quite funny. I think when he posted that on Facebook, kind of looked at it thinking, "Oh my God, has he won the overall thing?" Because at the time he was near. He was one event away from beating Ankush, and then read the title and it said, chess champion.
Could have been, and I know he's training. He's keen to win the Pentamine next year, so that'll be very exciting.
Yeah, a lot of good events. He's a very strong player, so I'm sure he's got a good chance.
He does. So we will see. Cool. Well, hey, thank you so much, and I hope to see you win a lot more medals in the future. And it was a real pleasure to go through this great game you had with Ankush.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for giving me the opportunity for this. I think next year it'd be nice. Yeah, I might be able to find some more time and play some more online games. And certainly if the venue will have you have a physical tournament next year, it would be really nice to see everyone. I think for a lot of people that come to London to play, it's the social side as well as the competitive nature. It's a chance, once a year to see a lot of these people and meet like-minded people. And I think it's a really nice event that's hosted every year. So
I really hope, and we'll see. With COVID, it's a bit hard to plan at this point. Uh, so we'll see. I mean, one way or another, rest assured we will have an event, and we'll try and publicize, the schedule way ahead of time. I mean, this year we had a schedule ready to go, but we changed everything, paused and changed everything. So if it does happen to be online next year, you'll know all the games way ahead of time, because I realized it was it was pretty short notice this year.
I think, but I think, it was such a lot to achieve to get, over 30 games in the month, all online, all the different platforms. It's such a big achievement to get all of that together, and the response from everyone, I think, has been great. So many people have played. I think you posted some stats about all the different types of players. I think I can't remember what the total was of unique players that had played in all the different events.
5,884.
So it's such a big number.
I should get it tattooed.
You should.
It's such an impressive record. So,
and I think it's been great this year for upping the publicity, doing all these online interviews and having interviews throughout the tournament. I think it's been great. So the team that have helped you, I think, along with that, has been really, really good to see them there. And I hope that continues more and more, really, to kind of inspire other players to play games and compete online.
Actually, before we sign off, do you want to show some games? What is it that you've got on your shelf back there?
Oh, okay. I've just got an okay collection, I guess. I think you can see Agricola in the middle, the yellow one.
Yeah, hard to see. We can see a little bit.
And above that is Terra Mystica, which I think I got last year, because I think you played that in the Mind Sports. I've only played it a couple of times with some friends. It's a bit of a longer one, so it takes a bit more to play. And then I think Carcassonne is above that. One of my favourite ones.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Some of the others that I have here aren't actually played at the Mind Sports. They're more kind of social or less well-known games, I guess. I quite like Alchemist, which is at the top. Kind of like a mix between Cluedo and worker placement.
Okay.
Which is quite fun. You're a wizard and you're trying to brew potions. And you're trying to work out different combinations of ingredients to make your potion. So it's a bit like Cluedo. But then you're also buying resources and stuff on a game board. It's quite a nice one.
That's cool. That sounds fun. I mean, the Catan Alchemist card comes to mind instead when I hear that. But obviously, it sounds like a cool
I've got Catan underneath that radiator.
Okay.
And then, a few other games in and around.
I think I see a Dominion set there as well, maybe. Under Agricola? What is that under Agricola? It's hard to see.
Oh, that's a game called Evo. It's a really nice game. So a lot of these games I've picked have different mechanics. So it gives me like a variety when I'm playing with either new players or friends that have played different games before. I'm often the one trying to entice others to play games and getting different people to play and going through the repertoire of the games. With Evo, you play with your victory points. So you buy mutations for your dinosaurs with your victory points.
Wow.
So that you can score more victory points. So it's a nice dynamic where you want the best tile on the board, but it's going to cost you more victory points to get it. So there's always a way up and a decision between how you play. So you can be really stingy or you can be really frivolous. And then you have a really tough time in the game or you have a really easy time. But then at the end of the game, it's all about your victory points. So it's quite a nice balance that. Quite like that game.
That's cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. And do you play like social games as well, like code names, things like that, or like Avalon, all these like social deduction stuff?
Yeah, I quite like those games. So we had one of my friends was due to get married, but unfortunately had to postpone. So we held an online stag party, where essentially we just played a load of games online. So there were some platforms to play games similar to Avalon, and we played a lot through, I think, Steam. Everyone can sign in and join up. So we played a lot of games like that, which are quite fun with large groups of people, trying to find out who the traitor is, things like that.
Well, that's cool. It's really fun. Cool. So yeah, it's great to see you took a gold medal this year. You're playing all these games. You had fun, and you're a great champion, James. And yeah, it's like I said, I do hope to see you winning a lot more golds next year. And And do let us know if you have any suggestions for new games that we should consider. Please do let us know, because we're always
Yeah,
interested.
okay. I look through. I think the games committee certainly picked nice, really nice Euro games, and there was a nice, a lot of good additions this year, with a lot of games. I think for myself, so, I haven't played a lot of them, so it gives me a nice opportunity to learn and play them. Especially, this year they all had an online presence, so that you can go on and play some of those games and kind of practice.
Did you compete in Agricola this year?
No, I decided
Oh,
because I think Agricola was on the very final day,
yeah.
and I think it was going to be using a platform that I'd never used before. So,
Okay.
considering I was there to just kind of have fun and play, I thought I'll give it a miss this year. But I think
you're obviously you're a great Agricola player, and you won Agricola the last time that you won the pantomime in 2006.
Yeah, I think it was a joint first, but yeah,
Right, okay.
I think everything had gone really nicely that year, and
well, it's not the only time you won the
went really well.
So you've been very humble.
But no, I think the Mind Sports is a great competition where I kind of brand it as friendly competition, because all the players, you get to know the players over the years, and everyone's quite friendly. To a certain extent, people are there obviously to win, and they want to win, but at the same time, there's a lot of humour. You get to know the players that you meet once a year, and I think during some of the other board game competitions throughout the year, some of the players obviously meet up and see each other a bit more often. I think for myself, I only really compete at the Mind Sports. It's kind of my 1 year event, and it's kind of like my holiday every year. I go off and play games, which is why I think for me, having the week off was quite nice, because I can take all of that time off and focus solely on the Mind Sports. Whereas because this was over a month, obviously I'm working, I'm doing other things at the weekend. It's a lot harder to focus solely on the Mind Sports for a month.
That's a hell of a commitment if you're going to do that. Yeah.
I think for me this year, that was just, I decided not to prioritize it. So I'd play I obviously want to play and join in. So I thought I'd play my fun events. And next year I might decide differently. Certainly following along while everyone else was playing gave me the thrill of playing a bit more. I played a bit more chess and some of the pokers because of that. Like the arena mode on live chess.
Which is really fun. Very different things we can't do in real life.
Yeah, and I think it's things like that. It just adds an extra element being able to play online. You get so much extra for free. I think made the most of that, and it went really, really well.
Cool, awesome, great. Well, hey, thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you play a lot more.
Yeah, brilliant. All the best, and I'm sure I'll see you, if not next year, around.
Sure.